Hello, boys and girls. It's Trevy the Great again here with another battle report. This time it's Warhammer Fantasy. Didn't get any 40k in this week, but I can't complain because I love the heck out of fantasy. This is a 2,500 point game, so rather big compared with some of the games that I've been playing recently. And it is versus a Skaven player that started recently coming to my local store. This is a photo of his list. Very powerful list. I, came in sort of to this game sort of knowing that he had a much more powerful list than I did, and just to see how it went. It roughly has 2 units of 20 slaves, 1 big unit of clan rats. It's purple there, sort of in the upper right hand there. 1 big unit of plague monks with a plague furnace and with a character on it, and he's got a cool sword that doubles his wounds. He's got a Hell Pit Abomination there, really cool conversion with that the Warp Lightning Cannon on its shoulder there. That was really cool looking. And then he has a what do you call it? A Screaming Bell with the Grey Seer on it in a big unit of Storm Vermin. And then behind that building there, you can see him just a little bit as a big unit of Rat Ogres, and they have the Master Molder, a special character whose name escapes me at the moment. Here's a rather unflattering picture of the backside of my army. This is one of my pretty standard lists. I have 2 units, 40 gores with additional hand weapons and full command. I have 2 level 2 Bray Shamans, 1 with a Herdstone, 1 with a feedback scroll that I forgot about all game and forgot to use, like an idiot. I have a big unit of 24 Bestigor. They have full command and the standard discipline, and I have my Beast Lord in there. He's got the Steel Claws and the Armor of Destiny. I also have a big unit of 6 Minotaurs with additional hand weapons up in the corner there, and in them is my Gorbel Battle Standard Bearer with Gnarled Hide, Heavy Armor, and a Shield for a total of a 2+ armor save. And then hanging out with my Bray Shamans is 2 units of 10. Actually, I think one of them was brought down to 9 because of points. Unit of Ungor Raiders, just to keep them from getting shot to death by, whatever crazy weaponry the Skaven are bringing. I also have, I forgot about a Great Bray Shaman in one of those Gore units. She's got an additional hand weapon, a Talisman of Preservation, and a Jagged Dagger to cut some little rats up and get me some more power dice. We were using some of the special terrain rules for this report. As you'll see later, they didn't really come into play. That hill there is actually an Anvil of Vol, so it gives magical flaming attacks to anybody on it. The Space Marine is actually an Elven Waystone, so that's +1 to channel. All those little 40k barricades were they were blazing barricades, as well as some of the ruined building sort of barricade pieces. They were all blazing barricades, which is strength 4 hits to enemies charging them. There was a mysterious forest and just a normal building as well, and a charnel pit, which was one of the circles on the ground. You'll see it later on, but the terrain really didn't come into play. To be honest, I think that the whole section on that terrain just sort of muddies up the game a little bit. And as such, I just really, I think that the game would be a little easier without it. But, we played with them anyway for all the good it did me. I was hoping some of those flaming hits and flaming attacks and things would help me against that Hell Pit Abomination, although that never really came out, as you'll see later on in the game. Here's after, I believe this is after the first turn. Units have just sort of maneuvered a little bit and moved up. I've gotten Wild Form off on that unit on the left there, as well as the Minotaurs, I believe, although it didn't really help me very much because there wasn't a lot of strength-based shooting coming at me from the Skaven. A lot of their shooting was really long-ranged and based off toughness tests and things like that, which is something that I probably should have foreseen, but I don't really have any specific way to deal with that anyway. As you can see, my 2 wizards there are hiding next to the Herdstone. That's where they sit, so they can get their power dice. And my Beast Lord is sitting in the back. He's giving my whole army leadership 10 to help against those panic tests and things. So right now, I'm just basically holding. I'm going to see if I can take some of those charges and hope that I can hold with the big units of Gores, and then try to counterattack with the Minotaurs, get those attacks in, and do some damage. So this is only turn 3, but it's really the beginning of the end for the poor Beastmen here. As you can see, there's a big hole where those Bestigor and the Beast Lord, the expensive Bestigor and the expensive Beast Lord used to be, right behind that Herdstone. They got fired at by the Plague Claw catapult. I only took one casualty and thought that I was pretty safe. But despite being leadership 10, I rolled double sixes on my leadership, and they fled right off the board, which was really unfortunate. That was almost a 600-point unit gone on turn 3, and as such, all my leadership was downed pretty significantly. You can also see there that that Plague Furnace and its attendant Plague Monks charged in against the Gores. They eventually, this is after this round of combat here, they eventually did an enormous amount of wounds to the Gores. They got the poisoned attack spell off and did a massive number of wounds. I was totally not prepared for the amount of wounds that unit, the amount of attacks that unit could pump out, as well as the attacks from the hits, I should say, from the Plague Furnace, and just the amount of damage that thing could do. That actually broke the unit, killed something insane, like 7 models plus a bunch of overkill from a challenge, and ended up breaking the unit and running it down, which was really unfortunate for me. So this is a couple turns later. As you can see, that unit has been destroyed and run down. The Plague Furnace over here has charged the other unit of Gores and is preparing to subsequently annihilate that one as well. I really just realized that there was almost nothing I could do against this unit, so basically the Gores were just there as a delaying tactic, see how much damage I could get with my Minotaurs out to try to drag some points back. The Minotaurs charged the Rat Ogres, who actually got their special character in them gave them regeneration, which was really bad for me. However, the Minotaurs did do enough wounds to break the Rat Ogre unit, although because of Blood Greed, I was only able to overrun 1 inch. Although the panic test that I caused in the slaves over in the corner there ran them off the board as well. The Rat Ogres did not run off the board. They were far enough away to be safe from that, although they were in a perfect place to get charged next turn. The rest of that, the Skaven army is sort of moving around to try to mop up the rest of mine, basically, because I've lost almost all of my big combat blocks. I still have my wizards back in the corner there. They're just sort of hiding away, trying to preserve their points and casting as much buffs on themselves as possible. But they're going to get, I think, drowned in a tide of Skaven filth pretty soon anyway. So here's the Gorbel standing triumphantly over the invisible bodies of his slain foes and comrades, for that matter. This is turn 6, I believe. This is right near the end of the game. The Minotaurs charged the Rat Ogres, as I said earlier. The Rat Ogres fled and then rallied. The Minotaurs charged them again. And I think we actually tied that last round of combat, and then fought it out and tied again. The Gorbel was able to kill the unit. I believe he killed it. I believe it ran off the board anyway, but all of the Minotaurs were killed in the process as well. The Gorbel was trying to kill their special character in there, and he actually succeeded in whiffing all of his attacks for 3 rounds, which is something like 18 attacks. However, the special character was attacking right back, and he also whiffed all of his, most of his attacks. So the Gorbel is sitting there with 3 wounds done to him from the Rat Ogres. However, he's not dead. This is the end of the game at this point, so he's preserved his points, and I was able to claw a few back, but I realized at this point that there was no way that I was going to get all the points I had already lost back. So here's the last photo of the game. This is the end of turn 6. Actually, it should be beginning of the Skaven turn 6. The Hellpit Abominations just turned around and charged those Ungors. This is the first combat it's got in all game. It was going pretty slow on its random movement rolls earlier. The Abomination eventually charged in and pretty easily succeeded in killing the entire Ungor Raider unit. They were able to do nothing against it, but it overran into that second one, but that was the last turn of the game, so it didn't really matter. But as you can see, there was a bunch of Skaven units descending in that position, trying to get the points out of those few Beastmen left over there. So what I ended up left on the board was that unit of Ungors and then that 1 Bray Shaman, which amounted to about 500 points. So I had lost about over 2,000 because of the banners and the general that my opponent had killed. I mean, I lost the game pretty handily. I only got back about 500, and a lot of that, I'm going to be honest, was because my opponent, his play cog catapult eventually killed itself, and some other things like that those random occurrences that I got points from. But it was still a really good game, and I really I'm thinking about my list again. I really just, coming into this, I was on the back foot because I really had no way to take out those big, I don't know what you'd call them, the plague furnace and the screaming bell, those big chariot monster things. The beastmen don't really have the tools, as far as I know, to take care of those, and the number of attacks that you get from the model supporting them is insane. And really, it stops me from bringing things like minotaurs in because they just get cut down before they got the chance to do a lot of damage. So I'm really not sure how to deal with these. I've been thinking of using some of the larger monsters, maybe to charge in and try to get as many attacks on those big beasties as possible. But I'm not really sure. If there are any Beastmen players out there who have a solution to units like this, generally in past the Skaven against Skaven players that I've played in the past, just putting as many models as possible onto those units is generally the way to do it. But this plate clock catapult with the poison attacks on the monks and the character kitted out like he was just as far as I can see, like, just unstoppable. It's got so many ranks, I can't put enough models into it to stop it from being steadfast. So I'm gonna probably be fleeing if I lose combat. And minotaurs are, because they're only initiative 3, they're just gonna get attacked by those poisoned attacks, and they're gonna get completely owned before they or get a chance to bring up enough attacks to make the difference in combat. So if there are any Beastmen players out there who have any advice, that would be awesome. That's just my thoughts on this game. I hope you enjoyed, and there's a 40K tournament coming up at this hobby center pretty soon, within the next week, I believe. So hopefully I'll get some reports from that and some other reports coming up in the future. So stay tuned. Trevy the Great out.